it took me a while to figure out what would be my signature sound. And I'm so glad I put into that time of frustration. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Suga Crave Show. It's a whisper because it's 6 in the morning over here. And the lady is asleep. I'm doing this like last minute podcast. Let me see if I can boost myself up so you guys can hear me a little bit clearer. Alright, cool. See, I'm still working out shit right now. Fucking 6 in the morning. I'm fucking blazing out. I'm excited. I'm going on vacation. I'm super excited. It's been a while since I kind of taken the time out to take a break. Take a break from everything, from producing, from work to. It's been a fairly busy season. Nothing too much to handle, but it's nice to kind of be able to take a break and kind of like not recover, but almost like restart certain things that you've been needing to reset. Yeah, boom. Resetting yourself for the better self of you in the future. Like right now, I'll tell you guys something. Right now, I've been wanting to make music more, but just haven't had the inspiration, haven't had the drive to it, just because I like doing the podcast. Like I love doing the breakdowns and so I haven't had that spark to create music. Not like the music I've listened to doesn't inspire me. It's just I haven't been inspired to create that music. I've been inspired to listen to that music, to evaluate it, to, see where I would take it, but I haven't done the action towards it. So I notice every time when I would go on vacation to another place, I just get this like spark of creativeness, and that's when like my most like greatest shit happens. Or like I'm away from the studio and like I'm in my car, just fucking open the laptop, empty session. I'm just like, you know what, let me fuck with some sounds. Let me go to my go-to sound. And so, but it took me so many years to realize that like I can't be stuck at one spot unless there's like some creativeness going around me. As you can see in my background, I have like albums, I have pictures, I just have things that I can look around and kind of give a little bit of inspiration. So I created my surrounding to be a little bit of a creative field. But sometimes when you have too much around you, you get distracted. So you start veering off to what you're supposed to be doing, which that happens. That happens. I mean, a lot. At least for my case, like I'll like look behind me in an album, and then I'll just dive into the album, and then now I'm like, oh fuck, I was supposed to like, look at the album, listen to it, get inspired by it, try to see if I could sample it or other things. But yet I'm like now immersed into something that I got too deep into it. like when you go on like YouTube and you go on these like rabbit holes and you're just like, fuck, how the hell did I get into like hoof shaving videos? It's just like you just get into these deep distractions. And so especially for me when it comes to sound design, the biggest thing, at least for us music producers, is like creating your signature sound, right? And in order to create your signature sound, you have to like dive into so many different sounds. and explore and see what hits. And for me, it took me a while to figure out what would be my signature sound. And I'm so glad I put into that time of frustration, because it just made me a better producer in general. Just going through trials and different, sounds and different genres too, to figure out, okay, how do I create something that fits with the type of music I make, and that it kind of brands myself. And for me, I love using vocals as synths, as like leads. And so, and that's, that's my go-to. It's not like my sound that I own. You know what I mean? I hope one day people realize that, oh, this is what Suga Brown sounds. I mean, or you listen to track, you're like, oh, that's Sugar, that's a Sugar track, or yeah, Sugar B. And so that's like the ultimate goal as a producer. But it's like, in order to do that, you got to put in the time and effort. And sometimes you get lucky. You sometimes create a fucking great banger within your first year of producing. And you're seeing it more often with, TikTok, of this exposure, which is great. Because you're not like me, investing like 10 years. You're still waiting for that big boom. But yeah, man, it's a different feeling once you're like, oh, this is my thing. This is my sound that I'm gonna go for. It makes I don't know. I'm just content with it, and it just works out. And people can realize, like, oh, like people hit you up like, hey, let's collab, but like the reason why they want to collab, because your sound, your signature sound, or the way that you produce that, that feeling. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I want that. I want to be able to work with you with that, or see if I can collaborate. And so to me, it's such a great feeling, because it's just like, you don't have to think about it too much. You're like, oh, boom, I'm putting my sound in, or I know this is what I do, and this is what I do best. It's almost like sports in a weird way. Is like, you have, like in baseball, there's like certain pitchers that have their pitch, the 4-seam, 2-seam, curveball. I don't even think they do the knuckleball anymore, but like, you get the point. They are known for those pitches, and so they, when time comes and it's like fucking important to hit it, they fucking hit it. And so, I don't know. I sometimes look at music in that way. Sometimes that competitiveness of like, what are you gonna do once the pressure's on you, when you need to pull through and get the job done? I'm bringing out my 4-seam fastball, bitch, going right in and top. I don't know. I just like, I love it. I'm just like, okay, cool, boop. It just, there's no buffering in between, because you already know what you're going to do. You're like, oh, I'm going to grab this sample, vocal chop, boom, boom, boom. I'm going to add this distortion, my rack. That's why I love Ableton, because it's just like, for me, I could work faster in that DAW than any other DAW. And to be honest, I haven't really tried much, FL Studio, Pro Tools, Logic, but for me, Ableton, I can create these racks that's like, oh, this is the sound that I'm going to get consistency, or this is the sound, like, feel I'm going to get. Boom, I'll just throw my rack. Boom, 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 boom. And I work so fast. And I think that's so important when you're creating your signature sound, is that the effortless of creating it, because you just know it inside and out. You know how to create that specific sound that fits for you like a fucking glove. And yeah, man, it's just, I respect the people that are still trying to find that right now, because it takes a long fucking time. Yeah. And it sucks because, in a way, too, your signature sound, you're kind of bind to it. And when you veer off, you do something else, you see it in music. It's such music could be so political sometimes. And when I mean political, it's just very two sides. People that love it, people that hate it. Hey guys, ever wonder where I record my videos or podcasts? Most of the time, it's at Design Sound Studio. It's about 3,000 square feet with a full lighting rig. No need to spend thousands of dollars for lighting rentals. We got it all set up for you guys. And we even have 2 flex rooms that could be used as makeup rooms, dressing rooms, or even a production office. I'm telling you guys, it's a perfect spot if you guys want something private without being interrupted by a noisy drummer next door. Our space is just gonna make your production rehearsals run so smoothly. And the best part is we're open 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if you're ready to book your session, head over to designsoundstudio.com and get a quote from us today. And I mean, especially your fans, because you got 2 types of fans. You got the ones that love everything that you do, and then you got the fans that love the progression of what you start becoming. They see your growth. I call it the growth lovers, just because they see the progression and they love how you are developing. And there's the OG fans, like the day ones, and those fans are great, but once you start changing, they're just it's almost fearful. When you're in a relationship and you see people change, or friendships, you're just I miss that person. They were such a great person. We just don't hang out as much, they don't call me. It's just it's part about growing to become the next step, because music comes in waves. I feel like 2010 to 2016 was the big boom of EDM, and so being stuck in that particular sound and not growing with different styles and genres, I feel like you just you hold yourself back, unless that makes you happy. So there's so many ways. For me, I just I want to grow. I want to see what levels I can push, and so, but it involves a lot to be inspired. You gotta get inspired. I was just talking to a colleague, and he wanted to go see an artist in the Hollywood Bowl, and money was the issue. And I was just if that money that you spent inspires you to create something great, or makes you create anything, then I think it's worth it. You just never know how inspiration can get you. Who knows? You might meet somebody there. You might start a band. You might start a group. You might start networking. They might be a manager. They might have connections, or you can help them out. Maybe someone's looking for a producer, and so, I get it. People don't have money to fucking, throw on every performance. I'm not telling you to go every day and buy your inspiration, because I think that's another thing. That's another issue. Is I need to go on this trip, or I need to go on this show just because I need to get inspired. It's no, then you're going for the wrong reason. If if you're worried about going to this particular event because of money and you're inspired by this artist, then I'm like, okay, then you have a little, more of a wiggle room. But if you're just like, oh, I need to be here, I need to like forcefully being inspired, it just doesn't happen. You're never gonna be inspired if you force it. Yeah, I've been reading a lot of like just, books of like how to treat inspiration, how to treat, a lot of tactics and stuff like that. And it's been nice to kind of get like a study of it, of like how the mind works and how does your mind work, because all minds work differently. And so for me, inspiration comes into the environment. Sometimes listening audibly, when I listen to like a new song or a song that I listened to the past and just kind of inspires me to create something new with it. I'm like, oh, imagine if I could remix this, to this level or to my sound. How would it sound? And yeah, that's why I'm like so excited to go on this vacation, just to be like, okay, let me put myself in a new environment. Just open up my laptop, fucking just create something, create a loop, just see what I can do with the loop. And yeah, and then work harder, work how I can push my signature sound. Like, okay, cool, I create my signature sound in this genre. Can I put it in country? Can I put it in country rock? Can I put it in like blues? There's, you know what I mean? It just like, it pushes the level for you so you can see other creativeness, other colors, textures, and stuff like that. I feel like that's just like, it's so, to me, it's so much fun because you're just like, oh man, I fucking put my sound into, a blues track or a blues beat. Who would have thought of that? And so I respect artists when they like take risk and then they go to something that no one would expect. They would be like, oh yeah, like, I don't know. I think that's why I'm such a big fan of Skrillex. It's just because he pushes the level of his signature sound and onto different genres and bringing genres inward to like artists from different genres to go into dance music. And he goes outside dance music. He goes to, reggaeton and like other stuff, and so, man, I just like that shit gets me inspired because it's just like, okay, you could still keep growing. I can keep growing from my sound and I don't have to be stuck. I don't have to feel like, okay, I can only be in here because this is comfortable. And I think a lot of people with their signature sound get too comfortable to the point that they don't want to take any risk because they're like, oh, this is an easy satisfaction. My fans love it. There's that consistency. And to me, it's nice. Like, it's almost like when you play live as a DJ, you know what songs are going to fucking bang in that particular environment. But wouldn't it be nice if you throw a little twist into it? Like, I don't know. It's just like when you see like those boiler room mixes, those DJ sets, and a DJ just throws a fucking hook, and people and the crowd's like, oh, what? And then when the beat drops, everybody's like, what? Just crazy. So I don't know. I love those moments because it's just like it's like a roller coaster. It's like, you're just like, cruising down, and all of a sudden you fucking just hit a stop, pitch black, and then all of a sudden, fucking the light turns on. You see outside, and you're in the top of the hill, and then boom, you just hit the fucking floor. And so that sense, I love creating music that makes that feeling. And that's just taking risks, because you just don't know. You don't know when is the next big song. If you watch interviews of producers or artists, and they're like, hey, so-and-so, did you know your song was going to be in the top 10 Billboard charts for, all of 2024? Most of them are like, no, we just created it. It was like, most of the time those songs are like effortless. They're just like, yeah, we just connected, went in the studio, and then boom, got it done within 15 minutes. I think Sia, when she wrote Diamonds, it took her like 15 minutes to write that whole song. And it's just like, that's the thing, is music sometimes has to be effortless. Because if it's effortless, more organic things are going to come out. Less hold back, less force. Because if you're like struggling to get things through, you're forcing certain things that naturally you wouldn't do. You're just like, fuck, let me throw this in just because I can't move on without moving in it. Sometimes it works, but I notice with me, when I create certain fills, like that's the one thing I struggle, is like fills, drum fills, or any type of fills. I just like struggle the most, and I try to force certain things where I could just be like, let me add these two things and then let it be. Now my fills like sound like a little overcrowded. There's like too much. It's like so, like almost like a too much distraction. And so yeah, I'm just like, yeah, that's something that I'm probably gonna work on now. And that's what I love doing these podcasts, because like you talk shit out that's in your head. Sometimes it's bad. Most of my shit's bad. Let's be honest. I say stupid shit, but right there is just like, oh, okay, cool. This is something that was on my mind. I've been wanting to work on it. Let me work on it on vacation. Fuck. Gonna get inspiration. There's no timeline. I'm like on my own time, no one else's time. Like fucking work it out. So yeah, fuck guys. I'm just like, let's get fucking inspired. Let's fucking. I'm gonna give you guys homework this weekend. This is your instructor, Suga. And this week, guys, I would like for you to turn in on Monday create a signature sound. Create your signature sound. What is your signature sound, and how fast you can create it? I think that's a cool key. I'm like, okay. I made the signature sound, or I feel like this is my signature sound, and how fast I made it, boom. Versus like, or create multiple ones. Create like, create 3 sounds, and then choose one to be your signature sound. But like time each one that you made, and I think that will tell you the most. The one that makes it the easiest, most of the time it's gonna be the one that you go for, because it's effortless, right? You're just like, boom, throw it in there. Or boom, I got the rap, bop, 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 create a crazy melody. That works with me. A lot of the times when I have my rack, it's like a distortion, reverb, and a little bit of OTT. And boom, I got my sound. It's the sound. The melody can be worked out. That's fine. long as I got my sound, I can work around it. I can, flip the cadence of the, at least for when I chop up vocals. I can reverse this, grab this portion, put it over here, and all this stuff. Just jumble it up, but at least the sound is there. I don't need to be like, oh, let me fucking throw this in there. Just not fitting right. Don't get me wrong. There's some moments that I'm like, okay, it's not working here. Let me add a different distortion. Let me add a different reverb, decay time. Let me add delay. But I think whatever you create that's the fastest is most likely going to be your sound. Because you're just not, it comes out naturally. You're not second guessing yourself. You're not hesitating on that particular sound. And for me, mine's easy. It's just 3 things, maybe 4. But people that design their sound, man, dude, like those, like dubstep people, those bass people, man, dude, their sound design is insane. I'm like, dude, I just tip my hat off those guys, because seeing their sessions and their breakdowns of what they do when it comes to like routing and all that stuff is like the coolest fucking shit. I'm just not that good. But I study that so I can learn and potentially do that with certain sounds that I'm trying to create. And so that's another thing, man. Get inspired by, watching other people create their sounds, signature sounds, and maybe replicate it, but then add your own twist to it. Instead of doing, a chorus, effect, do a flanger, just like certain shit, just tweak it. And there's too many sounds out there in the world that it's so hard to be like, oh, this is mine, and you know what I mean. Just so don't be afraid to try things, and if things work on the track, and if people are liking it more and more and more, in a way, you're creating your signature sound. Is it different from? Is it dramatically different? Is it a whole new fucking sound? Probably not, just because there's just so much. That's what's so great about it. There's just abundance of it. So, in a way, you don't have to feel or just don't feel don't feel hesitated to move on with a sound, because most likely someone else probably has that sound. And also too, if you make a bang ass sound, I guarantee someone else is going to try to recreate that, because they notice that you're on the right track, and so they're like, oh fuck, I need to do this. You see that, and so there's like these movements on certain genres that's like, oh, the house music movement, the UK garage, it's just like there's these certain movements that happen and people try to replicate it. I do the same too. I mean, I get inspired by like certain songs that are popping off right now. I'm like, oh cool, that would be so sick to put that drum loop into my sound, and see what I can do with it. And that's cool. I mean, I think whatever makes you happy too. Who gives a fuck, dude? Just like don't overthink shit. If you like it, you vibe with it, and your fans vibe with it, cool. Your fans vibing is a brownie point. But the most important part is like you like it the most. That's just me. I think that's the most important part about this whole thing, is just when you create your sound, or you create any type of anything you create, if you fuck with it and it brings you happiness, who cares? Who cares for any other opinion? Even your spouse, your parents, your fucking dog. Dude, it doesn't matter. Just fucking go out there and create it. It makes you happy. That's the most important part. So, but yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for today. I just want to thank you guys so much, and go out there and create. Get inspired. Go out to a show that you've been wanting to go. Go out to a movie. Go out to an art gallery, take that, go out for that hike that you've been wanting to go to, you know, get inspired. This weekend, get inspired because you just don't know what the outcome will be. And I guarantee if it's a natural inspiration, things are great gonna come out at the end. It's just you got to take that fuel, and take it to the next level and take advantage of it. So, but yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for sticking around and listening to my shit. One thing before I let go, make sure subscribe to the channels, all the, YouTube, Spotify, join our Suga Crave Club where you can listen to or watch this podcast ad-free, and got some sample packs, templates, and all that stuff is going to be up on there, so be sure to subscribe to that. And but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm so excited to go on my vacation, enjoy the most. And but yeah, hopefully you guys got a little inspired by some my motivation talk. But yeah, once again, I appreciate you guys' love and support. So you guys take care, have a great fucking weekend, and I will see you guys on the next one.